Did you hear about the Black woman who paid $10,000 for a dating coach and now she's engaged? What does that have to do with writing a book? Baby, I'm your business book bestie, and you know I'm about to break it down for you. I'm Denise Renee, writing coach, editor, and your business book bestie. I can help you write a book that shares your experience or expertise and grows your personal or business brand. This video is one piece of that puzzle, so let's jump in. Now, first things first, I am going to put respect on homegirl's name, okay? Her name is Shirley Williams, and she is the 7-figure business owner of a content studio called Willie B Studios. I am not a TikTok girly. I basically find out all the tea that's spilling on TikTok over here on YouTube. So I saw on YouTube, everybody started talking about her. And then my sister, Jessie Woo, did a fantastic podcast episode with her where we got to hear from her directly. So I'm going to link Jessie Woo's interview with her in the description below. But Shirley is a prime and shining example of what it means to invest in yourself. And one of the things that I took away from what she said is that she's a 7-figure business owner. So first of all, my girl's got coins. All right. So what people who are at a different price bracket will invest in is different from what people who are in a different price bracket will invest in. Let's just leave it at that. No one's any better or worse. It's just when you have different resources, you make different decisions. And even when you don't have certain resources, but you want to get those resources, you also understand the value of investing today to get what you want to get tomorrow. And when you want something that's high quality, that's going to be built to last, you make the right investment. I really love that she shared out of her experience as a business owner. She invested in business coaches, invested in mentorship, invested in, I think she said, mastermind. She invested in a bunch of different things for different areas of her business. She said, well, why am I not investing in this area in my life? And to be very frank, for her, $10,000 as a 7-figure business owner ain't nothing but a chicken wing, okay? So for all the people who are in the comments like, I wouldn't spend that money, that's because you don't got that money. Let's talk about it. Clock that. So, baby, don't get me started. But anyhow, the point is investing, knowing that you have value and knowing that you want something of value and making sure that you make the investment, not just to get what you want, but to do it at a level of excellence. And as your business book bestie, I am going to bring those lessons around to writing a book because I come across a lot of people who tell me they want to write a book because, when they learn what it is that I do as a book writing coach and as a manuscript editor, they're like, oh yeah, I want to write a book. But everybody thinks that they should just write a book on their own. Now, I'm not saying that you can't, but if you've never written a book before, why do you think that you're going to inherently know everything that you need to know to make it a high quality, excellent book right out the gate? I mean, were you great at writing in school? Do you consistently write all the time? Are you always putting out blog articles or writing YouTube scripts? Have you been honing your skill as a writer? Do you know anything about the self-publishing process? I mean, I could go on. So it always baffles me when people are like, yeah, I want to write a book. And then they just do everything by themselves. They just try to Google everything. And while you can get some information, why would you not want to put out the best, highest quality book that you can possibly put out for whatever budget you have? One thing I always have said is you're either going to spend money or you're going to spend time. You either pay money or you pay attention. To create a high quality book, you need to either invest a whole lot of time consuming the right content. And of course, you're on my page, so you are in the right place. I give you the good. I don't hold back in my content. I tell you exactly what I walk my clients through. In fact, you should check out this playlist when you're done with this video called The Writer's Toolkit. It will definitely walk you through beginning to end how to get started writing your book all the way through finishing off your first draft. But anyway, you're either going to invest time, and I think that the runtime on that playlist is probably about 90 minutes. Then you're going to spend time actually doing the work. Then you need to go find people who are going to help you edit and put all of the different pieces together. You can do all of that, or you can invest money in the right coaches, in the right help, so that not only can you speed that process up, but you can do it with excellence, especially if it's your first time writing a book. So when it comes to investing in writing a book, what kind of help should you get? Well, there's three different types of help, and I'll walk you through them. You're either going to get DIY help, do-it-yourself help, done with you help, or DFY help, done for you help. Let's break each of these down. Now, before I jump into each type of help, let me just recap really quickly, in case you missed it, why you would consider hiring help to write your book, whether it's your first book or your 50th. So some of those reasons might include, number one, if you've never written a book before. Number two, if you're not used to expressing yourself in words on a regular basis for an audience. Again, like I said earlier, if you're not used to writing on a regular basis, writing tweets, writing LinkedIn posts, writing blog articles, writing YouTube scripts or podcast scripts, if you're not used to writing on a regular basis, just jumping in cold turkey into writing a book for the first time will have its challenges. It's not impossible. You're just going to have to decide how you're going to overcome those challenges. Another reason why you would want to consider hiring help with writing your book is when you have a good idea, but you're getting overwhelmed or confused as to how to express it, how to pull it all together. It's just, you started writing, but it feels like it's just not coming together. That's a great opportunity to hire a book writing coach or a developmental editor. And number four, it's kind of similar to that, to number three, in that you may have started off, you got started, but you got stuck somewhere and you just don't know how to think yourself out of it and get yourself back into action so that you could finish off writing your book. So now that we know why you might want to consider hiring help to write your book, so picking the right type of help for you will come down to where your personality style, your sense of urgency, and your wallet all come together and intersect. So going back to our good sis, Shirley Williams, she had her own sense of urgency, and part of her personality and part of how she thought about and approached things was, hey, I've already gotten coaches in other areas of my life. Why not get a coach in this area? It also came down to her sense of urgency and her wallet. She had the funds for the type of coaching that she purchased, and she was looking at the fact that I'm nearing the end of my 30s and I want to make a change in this area now. So keep that framework in mind as I go through this next section, because if you've never worked with a coach before and this is going to be your first time, maybe you might feel a little bit skittish. And so you may not want to invest at a higher level. Maybe you have a sense of urgency and you're like, well, I may have to let that go because I want to get my book out into the marketplace in 2025. So we're going to have to figure something out. And then, of course, budgetary constraints. One thing you have to consider is that not only do you need to get help with the actual words on the page, but if you're going to be self-publishing, you are also responsible for producing the book. So getting the graphics, doing the layout, recording audiobooks, ordering initial copies of the physical print book, all of the things. So you have to consider the entirety of your budget and consider how much of that can you allocate towards the actual content of the book. And you need to allocate budget towards the content of your book and making it as high quality as possible. So let's get into the three different types of help you can get so that you can make the decision that's best for you. When it comes to DIY help, do it yourself. This is where it's going to cost you time. You're going to invest your time into things such as watching my videos, reading my book that's coming out real soon. Also, possibly taking courses, taking workshops, going to writing retreats or writing events, investing in masterminds. So, of course, the last three things that I mentioned, retreats and masterminds, or even intensive workshops, those things can become pricey. But the things on the lower end, things like watching videos, taking a course, reading books about writing, listening to podcasts about writing and listening to other people's experiences. It's a heavy investment on your time, but a lower cost investment or a cost that you can control in terms of how much you're investing in it. You will be doing the majority of the work on your own. You're not going to have that immediate feedback of someone telling you yes, no, or answering your specific questions, unless you're going kind of a little bit up the food chain a bit and doing the workshops, the retreats, the masterminds, the intensives, things like that. So don't expect that you'll get started with DIY help and you're going to put out a masterpiece in, 2 weeks. That's not going to happen. That will go to what your time frame is for getting your book out to market. So if you don't have that kind of time, if you have something coming up that you want to have a book ready for, maybe you have an upcoming presentation, you have an upcoming sponsorship opportunity, you have an upcoming speaking event, and you want that book ready in the next 3-4 months or so, then you're going to want to really consider DWY help. Done with you help. So yes, you are still doing the majority of the work, but you're not doing it alone. This is where book writing coaching comes in. This is where working with an editor, a developmental editor more specifically, or a structural editor at the beginning of your writing process comes in. Or sometimes you can hire them when you've started and you're like, I don't know where I'm going. What do I do? What's going on? I need help taking this to the next level. You can bring them in the middle of your drafting process as well. Here again, you might see some masterminds or some writing intensives that you need to pay into to be a part of, but you're going to get that coach or that consultant who will be there guiding you and giving you some either group time or one-on-one time or group and one-on-one time, whatever the structure of that particular program is. And let me tell you, this is where your business book bestie shines. I love helping people with their book writing process. I love giving you that 4-hour intensive. I love giving you a good workshop. Consider joining me for my upcoming workshop called How to Write a How-To Book. In this workshop, we are going to get to work immediately pulling together the content for your book and mapping it out according to my how-to book writing template. You're going to leave the workshop with a completed outline and a 30-day fast first draft writing plan so that you can get that first draft done fast. That's why I called it that. You're also going to leave with a whole bunch of writing tools to help you along your writing journey and the opportunity to work even further if you need to speed that timeline up even more. Get all the details and register at writingwithdeniserenee.com/how-to-workshop. Now, the last type of help that you can get is DFY help, done for you help. That's when you hire a ghostwriter who will come in, sit down, work with you to extract the story out of your head and your heart and get it onto paper. Now, don't think that you have absolutely no work to do. You do. You will be meeting with your ghostwriter regularly. You have to share the story with them. Then when they write, you have to give your feedback. You have to figure out, is this the right tone? Is this the right message? Sometimes when people see themselves reflected on the page, they don't like what they see. It's kind of like that phenomenon when you're talking, you know what the sound of your voice is to yourself, but then when you hear yourself back on a recording, you sound different to yourself, when in actuality, that's what you sound like to everybody else. Yeah, it's that phenomenon. So it's going to take some exchange and some communication back and forth with your ghostwriter to get the tone right, get the message right, get everything the way that you would say it if you wrote it yourself. Of course, that is going to be like hiring a $10,000 coach, but probably more expensive than that. Now, don't look over here for me to do some ghostwriting for you because that is on a special case basis. Officially, I do not offer ghostwriting services anymore, but unofficially, if it's the right person, the right project, and definitely the right price, I might consider it. But for the most part, no. I hope this video is helpful to you in figuring out what type of help is best for you to invest in, because we all need help. Even as I'm completing the edits on my book, I have an editor on speed dial. I have a book formatter on speed dial. I'm not sure if I'm going to call them because I can do it myself. I think I am going to wind up doing it myself because I can. I have the skill to do it. I also have the skills to record my own audiobook, which I'm going to do, but I have someone who's going to master it for me on speed dial. I would hire somebody to do my website. I do it myself. Been doing it for years. So there's a certain stack of skills that I have that I'm able to use to invest in producing my high quality book for the marketplace. But where I either don't have the skill or just don't want to invest the time, I'm going to spend the money to get it done and make sure that I deliver a high quality product to the marketplace. And you should be concerned about that too. So I hope that this video was helpful on that process. Don't forget, if you want to get a book to market this year, join me for my upcoming workshop at writingwithdeniserenee.com/how-to-workshop. And if you're not feeling a particular sense of urgency for writing a book and getting it to market right now, I recommend that you invest a little time into some DIY work by watching my playlist, The Writer's Toolkit. It's a series of 6 videos that will walk you through all the important elements that you need for getting started and completing your first draft. Click on the first video in the series right now, and I will see you on the other side.